Okay. So I just watched my Detroit Lions beat their rival Chicago Bears, so it's a good day. It's not actually. They had to come back. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it. But this is a request. How Aurelian restored the Roman Empire, Part 1. This will be broken into 2 videos. We're going to go ahead and start Part 1 of the video right now.
Amidst the rugged mountains on the dry, arid stretch of the Syrian steppe lay a wealthy city in a lush, fertile oasis. Adorned with sumptuous colonnaded streets, tetrapylons, majestic temples, spacious agoras, theatres and baths, elaborate stone reliefs, monumental Valley of the Tombs, and administrative government buildings, the city of Palmyra was the jewel of the Middle East and a melting pot at the crossroads of culture, with Roman, Greek, Aramean, Arabian, and Persian influences all on display. For over 30 years, this was the place that Queen Zenobia called home, where she wove together the obligations of kinship, patronage, and civic solidarity that Palmyra demanded of its notables. But in the scorching sunlight of the late summer of 272 AD, the queen stood on the steps of the Temple of Baal with a troubled brow, her troops posted on the outskirts of the city. She firmly grasped her cloak in her hand as the smoke and fragrance of lingering incense filled the air, and the sounds of solemn hymns, sung to flutes, drums, and tambourines, reverberated in the majestic hall. With a camel at her side, carrying a shrine in which a sacred stone was shrouded, Zenobia intoned prayers and made offerings of oil and wine, asking her god Baal for protection against those she perceived to be the invaders of her empire. However, the Emperor Aurelian deemed Zenobia's authority to be illegitimate and her bid for power unsanctioned, and he came to Palmyra at the head of an army to settle the matter once and for all. This video is brought to you by our friends over at CuriosityStream. As their longtime subscriber, I recommend their history documentaries, where you can find topics from ancient, medieval, and more modern times. But if Located in the semi-desert steppe of eastern Syria, Palmyra was a powerful city on the eastern edge of the Roman Empire. It derived the majority of its wealth from its location on the caravan trade routes of the Middle East. The city's merchants were renowned for their ability to secure safe passage of goods through treacherous country, from one water source to another, especially during the dry season. Palmyrene traders operated throughout the empire and, more crucially, played a major role in connecting Roman Syria to the Middle Euphrates, and from there the Persian Gulf. Since the times of Emperor Caracalla, Palmyra enjoyed the status of a colonia. However, in the middle decades of the 3rd century AD, when the Sassanids fought Rome for control of Armenia and Upper Mesopotamia, Palmyra attained a heightened political and strategic significance under the leadership of a prominent local aristocrat, Septimius Odaenathus. The instability of warfare in the region threatened Palmyrene trade, and Rome expected the Palmyrenes to provide for their own security. This inadvertently helped the city to create a martial tradition of its own, and in the 240s and 250s, Odaenathus used the reputation he had built up through his successful protection of the caravan routes from raiders and his position as commander of Palmyra's cavalry and dromedary archers to secure his dominance over the city and its civic council. By 251 AD, he and his eldest son, Herodian Hieron, were being honored in Palmyra as Resh, or leader, an unprecedented title among the Palmyrene elite. The two continued to amass power, claiming consular rank by 258, and in 259 Odaenathus campaigned against the Persians, sacking the city of Nihadia on the Euphrates. Odaenathus's greatest opportunity then came in spring 260, when Emperor Valerian was captured by the Persians at the Battle of Edessa. Valerian's son Gallienus was left as sole ruler of Rome, but the disaster of an emperor falling captive in battle sparked a crisis of loyalties. A cascade of usurpers sprung up across the empire. In the unstable frontier regions, ambitious men seized power, usually elected by the troops or the local aristocracy, greatly contributing to the erosion of imperial authority and the decline of its internal structures. The populace suffered against incursions that were becoming increasingly difficult to check, most notably an Alemannic invasion of Italy that had already begun even before Valerian's capture, and which Gallienus eventually crushed outside Milan, as well as Herulian and Gothic raids that saw the sacking of numerous cities in Greece, Macedonia, Thrace, and Asia Minor, including Byzantium, Argos, Corinth, Sparta, Olympia, and Athens, as well as the destruction of one of the wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. In the west, General Posthumus, his Rhine army, and the governors loyal to him broke away from central authority, forging a Romano-Gallic regime with Posthumus as emperor, further rocking an empire seemingly on the brink of disintegration. The Roman East was just as turbulent. Macrianus, one of the main fiscal officers of the empire, grabbed the opportunity, using his influence as Valerian's treasurer to march on Rome. Planning to seize the capital, he took with him his eldest son, Macrianus Minor, intending to elevate him to the throne in the west. He left his younger son Quietus in charge of the eastern provinces, supported by the Praetorian prefect Ballista, who was instrumental in propping up Macrianus's sons to the imperial throne. The momentum to usurp the throne gathered behind Macrianus, but his army was intercepted and defeated in Thrace, with both he and his eldest son killed in the encounter. Meanwhile, Quietus and Ballista lost control over the eastern provinces. In a calculated show of loyalty to Emperor Gallienus, Odaenathus marched on Emesa and overthrew what remained of the usurper regime. It was a clever move. Gallienus recognized Odaenathus's de facto authority, who was subsequently honored as restorer of all the East, essentially becoming the viceroy of Rome's most eastern provinces. This gave him authority over Roman governors and military forces in Syria and Upper Mesopotamia, which Odaenathus used to great effect to help push the Persians out of the eastern provinces, recapturing Roman fortresses of Carrhae and Nisibis. In a brazen move showing his ambitions, he had declared himself King of Kings, a challenge to the imperial claims of Shapur I of Persia. In 262 and 266, he twice invaded Persian-held Lower Mesopotamia, reaching as far as the Persian capital Ctesiphon on both occasions, but was unable to take the city. In 267, on the emperor's orders, he also campaigned against Gothic and Herulian raiders in Asia Minor. By now, Odaenathus had reached the apex of his power. However, members of Gallienus's court and Palmyra's elite were viewing his and his family's growing ambition with increasing concern. Although the details vary between the sources, it appears that in 267 or 268, Odaenathus and his son Herodian were assassinated in a joint Gallienic-Palmyrene conspiracy. The plan backfired. Far from destroying the power of his dynasty, his widow Septimia Zenobia took matters into her own hands. She propped up her young son Vaballathus as the new restorer of the entire East, thereby treating her husband's viceroy position as hereditary, with herself taking the title of queen and ruling as regent. She wisely chose not to break ties with the imperial court, as she was not yet ready for war, but no one was left in doubt of the influence she possessed in the East. Gallienus did not accept that Odaenathus's position as viceroy, which he himself granted in the first place, could be passed on to Zenobia's son. However, the establishment of Palmyra in the east, coupled with the failure to defeat the Gallic Empire in the west, seriously weakened Gallienus. The stability of the Roman Empire deteriorated further still when he too was assassinated in September 268.
This is, I know this is the build-up, but there's a lot that's happening. I have to pause it, because this video is I'm gonna end the video at the end of this part. But I have to pause it just to make a comment. My comment is, I don't know any of this, so I'm very interested. That's why I'm not commenting. But I can't not comment, because YouTube gets mad at that. So this is my comment. It's fascinating so far. Video.
Different accounts of the incident are recorded, but they agree that senior officials wanted Gallienus dead. The new emperor Claudius managed to bring some stability. He stopped the Alemannic invasion of Raetia and Italy at Lake Benacus. He then marched east to meet a major Gothic invasion in the Balkans. At the Battle of Nisus, he achieved a major victory over the barbarians. However, the continuation of the war was less conclusive due to the outbreak of the plague, which affected the Romans, but savaged the Goths even worse. Many Goths who survived were either admitted into the Roman legions or had lands assigned for them to cultivate. Preoccupied with matters in the Balkans, Claudius sent an expedition against Zenobia under Heraclianus, a former Praetorian prefect, to reassert control over the east. The details are unknown, but the campaign was a disastrous failure for the central government. This was the point of no return. Recognizing weakness in the empire's central authority, in the spring of 270, Zenobia sent an expedition of her own to conquer the Roman province of Arabia. This campaign, commanded by her general Zabdas, defeated the Cyrenian Third Legion, killed its commander, and subdued its troops. Later that summer, the Queen launched an invasion of Egypt with an army consisting of Palmyrenes, Syrian legionnaires, mercenaries, and barbarians. It was a grueling, hard-fought campaign, but Zenobia's forces successfully took Egypt. Despite the setback in the east, in the empire's west, the Gallic Empire was similarly unstable, and the assassination of Postumus in 269 had prompted a series of defections. Claudius's trusted general Placidianus seized the moment and took control of southern Gaul after several victories. Hispania followed suit, breaking their allegiance to the new Gallic emperor Victorinus and declared their loyalty to Claudius. But the emperor would not live long enough to reunite the lost territories. In the summer of 270, he journeyed to Sirmium, where he prepared for a campaign against the Vandals who were raiding Pannonia. On the way, he fell victim to a pestilence, likely the plague of Cyprian, a form of smallpox, and he died in August 270. His younger brother Quintilius, currently stationed at Aquileia, was declared emperor by the Senate. But, in an act typical of the crisis of the 3rd century, the new emperor was not recognized by the legions that served under Claudius, who instead threw their support behind his right-hand man, the talented Illyrian cavalry general, Lucius Domitius Aurelian.
So I wasn't paying attention, but I should have stopped there. So we're going back. It was the death of him, of Claudius. It's fine. It's fine. We'll have 30 seconds of rehashing. So, I'm going to end this here. Technically, this is a 12-minute video because that introduction. So the next one will be a 12-minute. It's fine. 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 So, I'm going to end this here. There's a thanks button. You can donate to the channel. You don't have to, but if you do, you can request something. It'll go to the top. You also don't have to request things if you want to donate. Subscribe if you haven't. That helps. Thumbs up helps more. Thumbs up helps almost as much as a donation. And then there's the thumbs down button. And there has been this thing going around where YouTube, it's working with YouTube. And they're working with a lot of labs around the world. And they've come up with these great strains of bubonic plagues. And they've just been injecting it right into the eyeballs and the nose and the face of people who like to give thumbs down. So if you want to give a thumbs down, just let me know that you've done it. And I'll submit your name. It is an all expenses paid vacation, but your family is responsible for your funeral. It is what it is. So, until next time, for part 2, have a good day, have a good night.